Hello, everybody. This is Anthony, Beyond Swim Mission Start Podcast, and we have another episode of the Conover. This episode entails everything of EVO that happened in Las Vegas, and all things considered, it was a very interesting and fun time for most of us. But with me tonight, we got several people you may not recognize. I'll let them introduce themselves. So, first off, I'm going to start with the friend I know, or the quote-unquote cosplay mom that I figured out that weekend.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, introducing Sarah.
Hello.
Uh,
Hello, everyone.
and then also, I'm going kind of, as my screen shows us, to her right with the ramen in the half logo, we get Eddie joining us as well.
Hey guys, I'm the Eddie from Retrenders.com. Thanks for letting me be here today.
Not a problem, not a problem. Next on our list, we have Eric joining us as well.
Oh, me? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's you.
It's me. I'm right here. Yeah.
Awesome.
He also goes by the name N4US, or so I've heard.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to be like that, but yeah, I am.
Cool. Awesome. And then our social media expert, Derek, is also joining us for this podcast as well.
Hi, guys.
We may have one other person join us, but in the meantime, it's going to be us. And we got a number of topics to talk about for this EVO. And I think the first thing to fully explain what EVO is, for those who don't know, EVO is a huge tournament. It is probably the biggest fighting game tournament in the world. It's held every year in Las Vegas. And it holds many tournaments, including Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, recently Pokken, and Smash. And other games that happen in the span of a weekend. Then all of it concludes on the Sunday of that weekend for finals day for major games. And
Guilty Gear.
And Guilty Gear, of course. But yeah, it is the biggest tournament, and it draws a huge scene. This year, it was probably the biggest entrance for Street Fighter V, with over 5,000 people that entered this year, which is crazy. But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell what it is. And this year, EVO was like the esports version, and I went this year because I was very curious as far as like how exactly would this version of EVO be. EVO has always kind of been like a more of a community grassroots type of tournament, but since they've gone more into the professional esports, or just kind of more of the ESPN like type of feel, I was very curious as far as like how it's going to look, how it's going to feel, and what's the difference it's going to be. So I think first we should definitely talk about the fact that one, and it's going off the top of the list that Derek gave us, one, that EVO was on ESPN2, which is crazy. So I kind of just going around the table, but like, what do you guys think of like EVO being on ESPN, or just in general on TV for that matter? Nobody at once, please.
Sorry. Like, I don't know who's going first. Is there like an order?
No, it's fine.
Lady first, Sarah, did you want to go, or?
Doesn't matter. We're all gonna be able to say something anyway, so.
Okay. I like the ESPN broadcast. I was at EVO, but during finals day, I'll tell you guys about this later when I tell you guys about my personal story. But at EVO, I actually chose to stay behind in the hotel room. I was honestly being really lazy. And I wanted to be in the comfort of my hotel suite at the Mandalay Bay. So I stayed up to watch the ESPN broadcast, and they couldn't have chosen a better host. They had Seth Killian, dropping all that knowledge, and Mike Ross. And yeah, Gutex was out there as their on-field reporter. The production was really great. Just everything they did on ESPN I thought was on point. And it felt like I was watching a World Series of Poker. Yeah, it was pretty good. And also like my dad, who just so happened to randomly be in Vegas the same time I was, although we weren't there together. He called me on on my phone and was like, "Hey, I'm at the casino with your uncle right now. We're just gambling." Next thing I know, the casino floor, they flip the TVs and the monitors on ESPN. And I see this bald guy playing Street Fighter, and with like, me, I don't normally care about you and your video games, but all of a sudden, I was just going crazy cheering for Long Island Joe, cheering for this bald guy. I don't even know him, and I was cheering for. He's like, I had no clue what was going on. Could you explain it to me? And I just gave him a rundown quick, like how EVO works over the phone, and he was into it. He was sold.
Nice.
ESPN did a great job.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was there too, but when I did get back home, I did watch the ESPN version of it just to see what it looked like. It was kind of rough start at the beginning of the broadcast because the audio balancing was not right. But as it went on in the tournament, it got better later on. But that aside, I think the production was great. I think that you couldn't have had two better commentators for the ESPN broadcast than Seth Killian and Mike Ross. Those two are really good together, and definitely Seth Killian more of the analysis person, while Mike Ross was bringing more of the hype man between the two, which is great, which is awesome. And yeah, I was there all day for Evos for finals day. I got there early in the morning, like around 7:30. And I sat there all day and I got some food, and it was expensive food, but I was sitting there all day watching finals, and it was great. I got pretty tired like midway, but somehow powered through it all. But yeah, no, it was. I think that the Evo ESPN version of everything on that day was, my experience is a little bit different because I was there personally, but I think it definitely was a good step in the direction of where the FGC is going, and where exactly it's going to, go moving forward in terms like, exactly this version of Evo for the next coming years. I know you were there as well, Sarah. What do you think of the whole production, especially at the Mandalay Bay?
It was a definite step up from years past, because this was my third Evo actually attending, and so like first year, okay, not so bad, because I've always been trying to find a spot in the box. Usually my friend and I try and find a spot in the box. That way we could just be close up there, not necessarily like, woo, we're on camera, woo, see us on the Twitch, but just to be up close to interact with the players and stuff. So we actually splurged this year. We actually got on the floor, and that was really cool. The setup itself was really nice. I think the only criticism I had was that the stage was so high that if you were sitting on the floor, like on the floor seats, and looking straight ahead, you were looking at the stage. So you'd actually have to stand up and then kind of tilt your head up.
Yeah.
See them if they were playing. But, once a match is done, once someone wins, you can literally just walk up there and, like, touch them, reach your hands out, grab them. That was kind of cool. I think the more exciting part I liked about the entire thing were, finals at Mandalay Bay was the people not knowing what, how far EVO has come, and they're watching ESPN at a bar, or they're seeing this weird, what's this video game tournament doing on the TV? Turn it to ESPN. And the bartender saying, it is an ESPN. It's like, this is ESPN. This is what they're doing now, and having, certain people just be completely confused, at first rejecting the thought that, why is all this video game stuff on here? And then watching the hype of like L.I. Joe come, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, by the very end,
Right, definitely. It was, I was very curious for the response of what everybody was watching at home. My dad, it was funny, so I told my dad, it's like, hey, tune into ESPN2 when this happens. And like, he texts me saying like, he's enjoying the broadcast, and he's like, he has no idea who L.I. Joe is, and he tells me that I like this L.I. Joe guy. This guy's pretty cool.
Well, like when they announced, like he's like the only American up there, I think that really got a lot of people's attention, because they're like, oh man, and then they went into how many people participated in Street Fighter, and out of like was it the 5,100 and some change people who actually participated. This L.I. Joe guy, look at him, he was the one lone survivor. And they were really trying to hype him up, and it worked.
Definitely. It drew in the crowd and definitely drew in that interest. And there's a saying, like, nothing's better when it comes to sports and television is, I want to say nationality, but like, kind of like country pride per se. And like, that's the one connected thing that, most people would latch onto, whatever the sport it may be. But before I continue on the discussion, we have a new guest entering our podcast. Marcos has just joined us. Marcos, welcome. Welcome to the Conover.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome.
Yes, live from his mobile phone. He has joined us in our podcast to talk about everything EVO.
Mr. El Cubano Loco himself.
glad to be on, guys. Thanks.
Not a problem. Since you are here, Mark, I kind of talk today. Since
okay.
you are here, Marcos, what are your thoughts on EVO, specifically on Finals Day? Like, what was your experience like for that day?
Oh my God, that was okay. I mean, I was really speechless. You know, like when I walked in and I saw the huge, like walking into the huge arena. I mean, it was just I was like transported somewhere else. Honestly, like Finals Day of EVO this year was probably topped my first EVO back in 2010.
Wow.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I consider my first EVO my favorite, but this definitely topped it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was just amazing. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It was just something else.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of had like that awe-inspiring moment when they get through the security people in the front, and then when they enter into the main area, where everything was set up, the big televisions like hanging over the EVO symbol at the bottom, the fact that like the characters' portraits were on the EVO stage as well on both sides. On top of everything in terms of like how big the place was and how wide in range, how many people can fit in. It was astonishing. I stood there for about a good minute or two, just like looking at everything. I was like, wow, this is crazy. I do not understand how we got this far, but somehow we did.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I got there around a little past 9 a.m. I think, 'cause I didn't want to get up early to watch Mortal Kombat 10, since I don't really play it that much. But I managed to catch the grand finals between Sonic Fox and Tekken Master, and that was like, you know, I got that moment where Sonic Fox took off his his furry hat. That was crazy.
That was real. That was like
I'm like, what?
I was like, oh
Okay.
crap, serious. Time
And
out.
just like the collective like gasp from like the whole audience when he did that was just like, oh my God, this like the look on his face, because he was down, he was like losing a lot of games, you know, and then for him like, because I never seen him like that before, right? Whenever I watch him play this game, and for him to have such a serious look on his face and like not be all smiles, I'm like, oh man, okay, now we get the serious Sonic Fox for once, you know, this is.
Yeah.
This is something else entirely. And just, you know, him doing that and then the whole vibe, you know, in the audience, like, it was just, that definitely, like, okay, this is what I'm in for this year. Okay, I'm hoping, like, all the games are just as hype, you know, like, with those moments like that, you know. So.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it definitely set a tone for what exactly that day was going to start and it's going to be. And it has definitely lived up to the hype. I think that each game that was showcased at EVO that day was definitely really awesome. It was a lot of fun to watch. Very hype, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But Eric, out of curiosity, so for EVO Sunday, were you there also in person?
Yes, yeah, I was. I got there around. I got there around halfway through Marvel. I got there a bit later than I wanted to, but yeah, like Mandalay Bay was like a really big, kind of like medium convention center. It was pretty neat. I knew some people who were watching ESPN at home, and they usually don't watch FGC stuff, but they were really into how Street Fighter was presented. I think I didn't see a lot of the ESPN stuff that they broadcasted because it was different than what I saw in the arena, but from what I understand, they did a really good job of reaching out to the casual viewers, I think.
Of course, you have those people who are obviously on Twitter or on any social media and looking at, you know, Street Fighter on ESPN too, and like, what the hell is this on TV? You know, this isn't a sport, you know, and all that jazz. And you're obviously
Yeah.
gonna get that every time, but like, it's just funny for me when I saw those tweets happen and just know it's gonna happen. It's like, yeah, video games are on ESPN too. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is a Esports
It's
is a
gonna
thing.
happen, you know.
hmm Definitely. So for those that were there on finals day for Evo, we're talking about it a little bit earlier, but like definitely the impact of the Street Fighter V finals, especially specifically of Li Joe.
Mhm.
The room erupted as soon as he walked in, and
Mhm.
like it was
Dude, people
insane.
were cheering for him, like, even during the down times when he was just walking around.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
stuff I
it's-
didn't see on TV.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, man.
hmm He would walk around. I remember he was like walking to, I think it was like to the backstage.
He was
or
just
something.
walking to like the bathroom, and people were like,
Yeah.
"Li Joe, Li Joe."
Yeah, like people were going nuts. They were just like clapping for him. Just like it was insane. He was a celebrity on the floor for that day, and yeah, it was crazy. It was really cool. Definitely to see specifically for him too. Like Li Joe is like one of the nicest dudes in the FGC.
Mhm.
And to
I mean, like I've had the pleasure of meeting him back in 2012, and he was like, well, for one, he's short. That much I know. Yeah, he is literally he is one of the most chill dudes I have ever seen in person. Like this was back like during like if anybody remembers the whole Brazzers thing that was going on back then,
Yeah.
Elric, I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that was it's like obviously that was a joke, but it's like but we discussed that for a little bit, and to see him go from it's like being prank sponsored by Brazzers, and then all of a sudden he's this big thing now. I'm like, wow. It's like it was pretty overwhelming.
Mhm.
It's like just to see that from him.
I think James Chen kind of put it best. Like you cannot put together a better story, or specifically like a better person for the role of the only American in Street Fighter V finals. Because like
People in Japan were calling him Shujinko,
yeah,
which translated is main character. He was literally the main character of Evo in Japan, like according to the Japanese.
yeah.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
The cool and then because like not only was he the only American, but then like he didn't realize the fact that his dad like flew overnight just to see him in top
Yeah.
8, which he didn't know about and was very surprised about, and like that like led into, oh my god, this is the best thing to happen on TV to showcase the FGC.
Like, and there is a bit of a backstory behind this. I mean, everybody knows about the story of the pink backpack, right?
Yeah, I know
wear-
about
he
it.
basically, yeah, he basically wears that. It's like in tribute to his mother because his mother died of cancer, and he was, and for the past 7 years, like once his mother fell ill, he was basically at her side for like 7 years. It's like until she passed, and he wears that pink backpack in tribute to her.
Mm.
It's like he does. Hell, like one time he almost missed a flight. He almost missed the flight because he forgot his backpack. He had to go back home and get it, and he was
Oh,
like
wow.
almost at the airport at that point.
Wow, that's nuts. I didn't
Yeah,
know about that.
I was reading up on Joe's backstory, and I was like, wow, like his father had supported him. It's like throughout his entire career, ever since he was 7.
Wow.
And, it's like going to all these arcades and having him. It's like and seeing him play. It's like and seeing him play with like all the local competition that was out there.
Mhm.
So this was a pretty big thing for him.
It was.
It's like to see. It's like when you put it in that perspective, yeah, it was a pretty powerful thing to see his dad take a red eye all the way to Vegas just to see Joe play in top 8.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm. The best moment during his play, and it was a time where like he had his hands on his forehead, like just looking at the ground, and then it switched over to his dad. He's doing the same exact thing. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that was a perfect moment to show that on TV.
Mhm.
I was like looking up at the sky, going, "Oh, come on, please, 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 win this one."
Yeah. But Joe, he did very well this Evo, especially in a tournament of 5,000 plus entries for Street Fighter V, and managed to get 5th overall, which is still very, very, very impressive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was.
I think he got what almost 4K, 5K for that?
I don't know.
Maybe a little less.
He got a good amount of money. I know that for sure.
Yeah, because like I
Yeah.
remember, like if you got tied for seventh, you got like $2,007.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, he did really well. And it was perfect time, the perfect player, and just everything fell into place. And I think that Li Joe definitely represented the FGC in that particular moment for the American FGC. In that one moment. Obviously, the rest of the Street Fighter 5 finals were still pretty hyped to watch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, beginning with the first match,
Oh my
like
God.
MOV versus Fudo.
Man.
Oh, because
That was the craziest match I'd ever seen. I was like, yeah, that's a great way to start this off with.
yeah, because like Fudo was like quickly up 2-0. Okay, and then MOV brought it back to. I was like, oh my god, who's gonna win this first match? Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and it was. I think it was down to last match in round, and Fudo barely won. I think. So, so good stuff to him pointing out. But MOV, like one of the third strike gods. Making the top 8 was pretty impressive. I didn't think he was gonna make top 8, honestly. Like I would have never pictured him in the top 8 at all. Like maybe top 16-ish. But. Yeah, good stuff nonetheless.
Agreed.
Yeah,
It was definitely one of the hypest matches to start off Street Fighter 5.
Going back to Joe, so I think I lost my voice cheering for Joe. More than any other moment at EVO, like when he beat Aita. The room erupted even more when he beat Aita 3-1.
Yeah.
I mean,
I literally jumped up out of my chair at home and went. Yes. Like,
I was afraid I was gonna lose my voice by the end of the day. I was cheering so loudly for Joe. It was crazy.
I know. Yeah, I'm like up in my seat yelling, "Strong Island, let's go!"
Yeah, man.
Oh man, pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was.
Agreed. So Eddie, and then because you were in your hotel room when you were watching this, like when these hype moments were happening, like was a part of you like thinking, man, I should be there at the Mandalay Bay, or were you like still pretty hype in your room and just going ham?
For me personally, whether I'm actually there, witnessing it in person, or whether I'm watching it through a stream or on TV, I'm still gonna get hyped. Like I was actually, I was hosting a party, a little small viewing party for the people who couldn't make it into the finals or who didn't get tickets. So me and everybody in the room, we were all just going crazy hyped. I was actually kind of scared that we were going to end up with a noise complaint. Because we were like yelling like crazy. I was throwing stuff. Oh man, like it was, that was a pretty hype finals.
Nice. Awesome. Eric, I need to ask you, because you were also there. Where was your voice at that moment? Like, was it like completely gone, or was it still intact in some way?
I mean, I was pretty good. Like, I wasn't like screaming. I'm not the type of guy to just like scream all the time. I was mostly like clapping and stuff. But yeah, no, the Li Joe moments, and I'm not saying like this is a really bad thing, but like after he got eliminated, like it seemed like a lot of the hype died down, because there was just like so much hype. Like when he was playing like all his matches, like he really did a solid job that tournament. And it's like I didn't see any of the top 16 matches because I was busy with something else while those were going on. But it was just, I could just like tell, like watching him in top 8, like damn, he probably put a lot going into this.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So one of the things outside of Street Fighter 5 during that day, there were definitely some other games that were played that definitely one I feel is an upset, or I think long deserving, and another one which was, I think, ended in the right way for me personally, and that was Chris G winning Marvel 3, and then Hungry Bucks winning Smash. So this kind of sort of, Chris G has been playing this game for a very long time, and finally, to see him finally win in EVO, it was long deserved. Like, he's definitely been at this game for a very long time, and it's nice to finally see him win EVO. So, and it was definitely the matchup was definitely in his favor. I think that,
honestly, Team Big Body really had no answer.
No.
You couldn't really get through all that bullet hell with Morgan. So with Morgan, so at that point it was like, well, Chris, I think he's got this in the bag.
Yeah,
And it was pretty much well deserved at that point.
Agreed. That matchup, you can only get so far with the big body team, and KBR, we had him last year on the podcast, and it definitely is a team that once you're in, but if you can zone that team out, then it's very hard for his team to get in, regardless if he has an invincible super with Sentinel or if he has other choices trying to get in, specifically against Chris G's team. And I think one of the things I remember hearing is that Chris G was playing out of his mind that day. He did not drop us. He didn't drop me one or two things, but that man was on point.
And his first match in top 8 was against Justin Wong.
Mr.
Tough.
Marvel himself.
That was tough.
That he barely won that with that timeout at the end, 3-2. I was like, oh my god, who's gonna win? Because Justin hasn't been playing that much Marvel lately. Mostly concentrating on SF5, of course. But Chris, he had been playing again at the beginning of this year. Both Marvel and SF5, but he kind of fell off a little bit last year, I guess. He got 9th last year at EVO. He lost to 2 Japanese Marvel players, which is crazy, and in close sets too. But he was pretty distraught. If you've seen the videos where he loses to who was it? I think it was Takumi from Japan.
I think Takumi, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was Takumi, yeah.
There was footage, off-screen footage of his reaction when he lost. He was in tears, okay, because he wanted it so bad.
Oh, it was RF.
Oh, RF.
Oh, it was
okay,
RF.
Yes,
okay.
yes, you're right. But he lost to both though. But the one where he got emotional was against RF, and he was so watching that is just it. I really earned a lot of respect for him because it shows how passionate he is. Because he gets a lot of flack for being the villain and everything, but. I know him personally. We've hung out and chatted. He's not a bad dude. I feel like sometimes what he used to have, his cockiness that he has sometimes, or it's really just confidence, really. But, people misinterpret things. And, it's not that kind of, the kind of cockiness that just comes off.
I'm guilty of this too.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a bad dude at all. And just to see how passionate, how emotional he gets, because I can relate to it. I'm an emotional player. I'm pretty infamous for that, honestly. So it made me happy for him to see win Marvel 3. After he beat Justin, I was like, okay, he's got this in the bag. He's gonna win this tournament. So.
At that, it's the moment when he won. He pretty much the best part about that when he won. He literally just sat there.
Yeah.
That's
it didn't even sink in for him yet. I'm like, wait, I just won this?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And then it just came through. It's all the emotions just came through him like a tidal wave. I'm like, yep, drink it in, dude. Drink it in.
Yeah.
Take this. It's take this moment in. It is finally yours. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So in Chris G's defense, a lot of people like to talk shit about his Morgan game because, oh my god, he's just flaming him out. That's bullshit, blah, blah. But it's
I'm like, well, you got to get around that.
Yeah, have those people who said that actually tried to pull that off themselves using Morgan? It is not easy.
No.
You can't just sit there, use that air super and just throw fireball. It is actually a hard technique to do because if you miss one fireball,
fly up,
it's really tough to do. So mad props to Chris G for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed. And it's well deserved. So he finally wins an EVO. He's finally cements all the hard work he'd done for that game to finally come out as.
He's finally cemented a legacy for himself.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll definitely see what happens in the future for Chris G. The other game that I think that I wasn't expecting to get really hyped for, but only because one particular player, in my opinion, I actually do enjoy watching, and that is Hungrybox during the Smash finals. So the Smash Finals for me, like it started off, pretty hype. I think that one thing I noticed is that there was a lot more people in the arena by that time.
Oh yeah, when it comes to Melee, like people just come in droves.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
People love Nintendo.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
I know I do.
Definitely. And yeah, no, it got more packed. I saw a lot more people who were definitely cheering for, different players on whoever was gonna go up and play. I think for me though, like out of the players I was really looking forward to seeing was Hungrybox, and definitely his play with oh man,
Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff. Yeah, I just want to make sure I said it right. Like his play with Jigglypuff and the footsies he had with that character is just ridiculous. He was already on a tear this year as it is prior to EVO. He won tournaments prior. He was definitely on a roll, and EVO was the big question. Like, was he gonna take it, or was he gonna be defeated by Armada or other players that were there?
Yeah, the past few years, like it was kind of out of his grasp, and it was good to see him. Because there were times where he looked like he was gonna lose. But
oh my god, yes.
He had so many clutch moments. It was ridiculous.
I was like, all those clutch rests were like, what?
I'm like, really? And that's
like I saw
like,
I was like the clutch rest to reset the bracket. That was like, oh my god.
I lost my mind.
It's like that was the instant I started paying attention, because like I was like not really watching top 8, but I was paying a little bit of attention to it. And then I saw that, and then I saw that reset rest. I was like, okay, now you have my attention. Now let's see what you do.
Yes, definitely. It was nuts. There were definitely times where I thought he was done, and somehow, with one stock, somehow managed to make that comeback. That sleep is such an X factor for Jigglypuff, and you just need one hit with sleep, and that's it. And then I remember hearing, and then Derek told me, I think this later on, prior to him competing that top 8, apparently like his biological dad has died recently.
Yeah.
And you can definitely tell, like when he did win EVO finally, like the tears were coming out, and all the emotions were just,
oh yeah, you can't blame the guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I didn't know yet.
Like, yeah, his dad basically told him, yeah, you'll never. It's like, you're good, but you'll never be the best. Well, look at him now.
Yeah.
I saw that interview, and that was pretty crazy.
Yeah. So definitely a lot of emotions, riding on him there for sure.
Agreed. And I like the fact that ending happened, and I like the fact that he won EVO. He definitely is proving that he is definitely on a roll this year. Among other tournaments he's won as well. The other thing I heard too was that I believe the team he's on, Liquid, they recently got him a full-time coach. He's already been friends with his name's Crunch. I think his name is.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
He was already coaching Hungrybox as it is, but I guess they made it official and signed on with Liquid to coach him full time. And it definitely has been shown. He's been tearing it up this year so far. And this is only half of the year so far. So next 6 months, we'll definitely see more Hungrybox, and we'll see how that goes. But I was very happy. I didn't expect that Smash Finals to be super hype up until the very end, and I was just losing my goddamn mind.
I expected it to be hype. Although it wasn't. Okay, so I went to my first Smash major, which is Genesis 3, which was in San Jose. Earlier, was it earlier this year? I think it was in January.
I think it was, yeah, it was earlier this year.
Yeah, and that top 8 for Melee was something else, right? So I'm like, what can top this top 8, right? Like maybe EVO top 8, and it was just about as hype, right? And and then so I was going into it, I was like, I think maybe Hungrybox might win this year. I mean, he's been on a tear, but then he loses to Plup in the top 8. I'm like, whoa, this guy's on fire right now, Plup. I'm like, because he beat Mango earlier, the day before, and now he's in top 8, and he got to winners finals. I'm like, damn, is Plup gonna become a god? The 7th god, or this tournament. But then he kind of loses to Armada pretty free. You know,
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that was disappointing. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
but then Hungrybox, had to claw his way back, and him like clutching it out against Mango, like in that last stock with that another clutch rest. I'm
Mhm.
like, Jesus Christ, this guy is just when I think I didn't see enough of like high level Jigglypuff from Hungrybox, I'm like, wow, this guy is like he really wants to win, man. Like he pulled everything out.
He did. He did.
So
One other note to kind of
Yeah.
cement the whole thing. Man, it had to be like at least a full 1 to 2 minutes, but Armada did not move like from his seat after he lost.
Oh,
to
man.
Hungrybox.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
like,
I
mean,
remember that moment.
that was really
Dude.
hard to watch, honestly.
I'm
Like,
still waiting on the Crying Jordan
I don't
meme.
know how much was like shown on the stream of that, but no, he was there for like
5
7 or 8 minutes straight, dude.
Yeah.
Just
Mhm.
He was still I think like at that point he was contemplating life. He was contemplating what to have for dinner. He was contemplating who to talk to about this. He was probably contemplating.
That Chris Lee guy, like, he's like the shaved head dude who's like on Evo and all that. Like, he was like going up to him and he like had his arm around him. He's like, "Is everything okay, man?"
Yeah, he was pretty distraught. I mean, and I read some of his tweets like on that day that it happened, right? And man, he was just like, he didn't want to talk to anyone, or and he didn't want to do anything after that. Like,
It's understandable though. That's
oh yeah,
yeah,
Like,
definitely.
you mean like he lost Evo to a Jiggly. It's like to I guess in his mind a Jigglypuff player. That usually never happens, and he was getting hit by rest in like
He got hit by
situations
rest
he
like
thought-
5 times. I'm like, damn.
That's probably what he was thinking about. I was like, how do I keep getting hit by this?
I kind of wonder if because Evo was on the Mandalay Bay and the stage was such a bigger stage than usual. I wonder if, and I'm pretty sure for some players like it was definitely a new experience, but I wonder if like nerves definitely start to kick in.
Probably, yeah.
yeah. I mean, so okay, back to Genesis, right? It was Armada and Mango Grand Finals, right? And Armada looked pretty confident, cool, confident. I'm sure inside, like there's probably a lot of nerves, right? But maybe yeah, Mandalay Bay is a little bit bigger, right? Like, but like the stage, like the crowd, it's the crowd that's a factor, I think. Like how, especially if it gets really super loud, that's when and you start to hear all this support, like for your opponent or your opponent doesn't matter, right? It's just like you're so nervous, like sometimes just shit just happens, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't. But he looked like he was gonna win that first set, right? Like, even though it was close, right? Like, like Lamar still like he was not doing anything bad. He didn't make any big mistakes. It's just it was really back and forth like the whole way. Any Armada or Armada could have won, but Hungrybox was just slightly the better player, So, I mean, but yeah, I mean. Hungrybox won, right? But he barely won. So
yeah.
Those two players, him and Armada, like, are the real winners, honestly. Even if Armada got second, okay, but those guys played out of their minds, like more than usual. Like his Fox, I hadn't seen Armada play Fox in a while. He's been playing mostly Peach. As like he only needs Fox, I guess, against Jigglypuff, or if it's another matchup. But his Fox was so clean. So solid, like it was like, it's like what I want Mango's Fox to be. Like I enjoy watching Mango's Fox, like how he just goes balls to the wall, like living on the edge, crazy, But watching Armada's Fox was just like, damn, this is like the perfect Fox, I saw like no weaknesses, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, in my opinion, anyway. So
I wouldn't be surprised if we got a round 3 out of those two, like at the next Evo or something. Because that's the second time they fought each other, right?
Yes.
Mata won it last time.
Yes.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see a round 3.
Out of curiosity, does anybody know what the next Big Smash event this year?
That's a good question. I'm not sure exactly.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
To the
I don't know.
internet.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'll probably figure it out later, just out of curiosity. Because I definitely want to see a rematch for sure. and hopefully we'll definitely see that later down the line, possibly later this year.
Yeah.
Definitely. So for those of us who went, which is majority of us in this podcast, we can't talk today.
It's all right.
We all have our own personal stories when it comes to what we took away from this Evo. And it could be funny, it could be weird, it could be awkward, it could be whatever. Just kind of a story that happened. And for me, like, I think the one thing that story-wise for me is that even though my game wasn't there, and my game is Skullgirls, and
Okay.
the whole community already kind of decided which majors to go to and come together and play at a certain major and yada yada. I was there specifically just to have fun and enjoy this new version of Evo, and I knew a bunch of other Skullgirls players were going to be there anyways, for other game purposes. So my personal story for this one is that I set up a salty sweet Skullgirls room in my hotel room. And like it was pretty fun. Everybody came by. We had some refreshments, quote unquote. We had and part of it's already up on the YouTube page actually. But we had a late night salty sweet. It was a lot of fun. A lot of shenanigans happened, and it was just definitely cool to chill with friends during that night. And it was just kind of a impromptu type of thing. But generally, Evo for me, like story wise, like I would say, like it was very, very interesting. But I'll leave it at that, and let's kind of leave it to you guys as far as like any stories that came out for you guys personally out of this year's Evo.
May I'll go, I guess, with mine. So yeah, I already said this Evo is definitely my favorite. Next to my first one, which was back in 2010. So this was like my 7th Evo. I can't believe I've attended this many Evos already. But what I took away from it, I didn't do quite as good as I wanted to do, like in Street Fighter V. So I played Vega, right? And it's been kind of a rough transition for me. Since Vega's totally different in this game, like not charged, he's a stance character, and now he has like offensive tools, but he still kind of has like the same weak defense, right? But now I'm kind of digressing. But anyway, so I think I had one of the more like tougher like round 1 pools, right? So it was me, Chris Tartarian, and this fellow Vega player from Arizona who's pretty decent. His name is Rusty Marco. Mostly he plays online, but he goes to some tournaments here and there. And so I go like 3-0 in my pool, right, up until winners finals. I was hitting everything. I was on point, hitting my combos, making the right reads. And I run into Chris, who I trained for not as much as I should have, like prior to Evo, because I kind of took a long break, like before the week before Evo, okay, like unintentionally, like because I had a lot of stuff going on. Personally, but I practiced a little bit for the Ken matchup. I've only played Chris once in casuals, and he destroyed me. That was back like in NCR, and then I play him in winners finals, like on the stream station. I think I probably got a bit nervous because Christy's a really great player. First of all, the kid's got like serious reactions. Like I feel like Chris's reactions are very underrated. Okay, like nobody know. Like I don't think a lot of people know how good his reactions are. Like if you haven't played him, that is. But he destroyed me. Like I only got like a round off the kid. I was really mad when I lost to him. Like inside, I didn't show it, but inside I was raging, right? And immediately afterwards, I had to play my losers finals match really quickly. And usually, like after a loss like that, I kind of asked for a break, like 2-minute break or something, right? But I was in my right frame of mind because he kind of put me on tilt. and then I lose to the fellow Vega that I put in the losers bracket earlier in that pool.
Oh shit!
I lost in the mirror. I lost in the mirror, and I know I shouldn't have lost to him. And I already knew what I did. And so I had a friend record it, right? He beat me 2-0, and I didn't want to look at the footage because I already know what happened. Like, I got very emotional. I let my emotions get the best of me yet again, you know. So, I mean, that's, you know, what I learned from this EVO is like, wow, I still really don't have my emotions quite in check like I thought I have, you know, because I've been playing for a while now, you know, and I've, you know, learned to channel my emotions into a more positive direction so I can, you know, actually win. But, you know, there's still times where, like, I just kind of lose it, you know, like, if I don't show it. And it's just like, wow, I still need to work on this, you know. But also doesn't help, like, I didn't get I haven't really practiced a lot of this game, you know, as much as I used to practice SF4 back in the day. Well, I'm saying back in the day now for SF4. That's crazy. I mean, it's been a while, I guess, now to say that, right? But I don't know. But yeah, I mean, other than that, like, so I was mad for a day, you know, and like I got over by the next day, sort of. I just like to talk it out with people. And here's another thing I take away from EVO, right? Like, you know, a lot of people, regardless of where you win or lose, like, since I've gotten to know and meet a lot of people throughout the years, and like they show me so much love and support, you know, which I truly appreciate, and it means a lot to me on a personal level. So that helped ease the salt, you know. And another thing that also helped ease the salt when I heard other really good players from either here in NorCal or some other region, I'm like, oh, you didn't get out of pools either? Oh, okay, I'm not the only one.
It was really rough. Like, Street Fighter V this year at EVO was ridiculous. There was definitely some players who got eliminated. You wouldn't think get eliminated that early or, you know, in that round, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, you know, like, this is my first time not making out of pools since like 2011.
Wow.
So I was pretty disappointed in myself. Like, I'm like, wow, what? But I try to tell myself, you know, it's still a new game. You know, it's not a year old yet. You know, I'll get better. And, you know, and after Joe's performance, I was even more inspired to get better. I'm like, wow, because that guy, he's the kind of player that doesn't have that, like, you know, that talent that you're just born with, right? In my opinion, like he's had to work. You know, like he went through a struggle with Sagat, like, you know, last.
Oh,
you know?
man, like after Vanilla, it was
after
just all
Vanilla.
downhill.
Yeah. So, you know, I can relate a lot to, you know, what Joe, like, the kind of person Joe is. He's very emotional. He's very humble, you know, passionate, you know, and he likes to play characters where, like, you know, you kind of have to work with them just like I do, right? So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, now, like, I want to, you know, now I want to get better now, and that's the thing I took away from it. Also, one more thing, it was my birthday weekend during EVO.
No shit.
So I had a blast.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I got outside the tournament and everything, you know.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was great. So definitely, it was the second time in a row that EVO has landed on my birthday. So, but
Nice.
yeah,
Awesome.
it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
And definitely we look forward to seeing you compete more and get better at the game. As
Oh,
time
yeah.
moves on.
Now that Jury's out, she
Yes.
so she's not gonna replace Vega, but she'll definitely be she's definitely my secondary, because at first I was kind of messing around with Nash and Ryu a bit, maybe secondary, but I was like, no, I'm not feeling them too much. You know, they're fun to play, but you know, Jury, I like her character design, I like her personality, and she just looks super sick to play in this game now. So I can't wait to get my hands on her, like, later tonight, actually. So yeah. Oh, and here's an interesting thing. Like, one last thing I'll say. So I was speaking of secondary. So I'm trying to think of, like, because when I use a secondary, I just put in enough work to, like, you know, just, it's not quite as good as my main, but good enough, right? To counterpick or I don't know. But with Jury, I'm trying to think. It was like, okay, Vega's my main male character. Jury's gonna be my main female character. So if I think about it that way, maybe I could get her as good as my Vega. But I still need to work on my stuff with Vega too. So, but if I just keep like thinking that, it'll maybe help me better myself as a player.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So yeah.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And then, again, D10 will definitely see you out more in tournaments, and as any competitor in any fighting game with definitely grinding it out and definitely keeping at the game will definitely make you a better player for sure.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So Sarah, I mean, I have we had a lot of fun this weekend or at Evo. But for you, like what for you, what personal story you can take away from Evo from the time you were there?
Well, I was only there for finals because I bought the badge for finals when when the tickets were first going out. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, I got a badge for Evo. And then they came out saying, oh, you need to buy another badge for the regular times. I'm like, maybe. And that didn't work out because I had a car accident. Now my funds had to go to the car. So I'm like,
oh man.
Fuck.
Yeah, that was actually
Now
the
it's
main
just
reason why I didn't go this year.
Yes,
The
like,
whole
finals.
kind of threw me off.
Yeah, so I missed a lot of like the main hype, which is watching everyone start from scratch really and then watching them get built up. So I was only able to get that part of finals, and what I've noticed, because my viewpoint on the whole on Evo is actually a lot different from everyone else because I'm a cosplayer, and yes, yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I do the cosplay thing, but I am also I'm the youngest sister of two older brothers who started playing Street Fighter 2, and I was always player 2, right? So Evo kind of sits well with me, especially the Street Fighter stuff, because that's what I was raised on, but I can only play player 2, so huzzah. But as far as like the cosplaying part, everyone except for like one time at NCR, but everyone's actually extremely nice to cosplayers. What I've noticed. It's like everyone's like, oh, that's cool, or can you do this fighting pose? Which I've had to do. Like I did this cosplay a couple years ago from Arcana Hearts, and someone wanted me to knock them over the head with my hammer. And that was actually kind of fun. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is actually kind of fun. Not that much different from like a convention, but the participants, all the players are actually really nice. It's like, oh my god, I main you. And I'm like, oh, thank you. You're so nice. But yeah, so during the time at finals, because my cosplay, it was a Yagyu from Senran Kagura. If any of you are familiar with the Senran Kagura series, it's like the booby ninjas. They transform, and there's schools and all this stuff. It's there's lots of fan service in it, and the costume itself is very daring, but even then, people were very nice.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, there were some stares, but it was like a quick stare, and then, I gotta look for my phone, or have to go look at my feet.
Check my pull bracket,
Like, let me go check my phone. I gotta tweet something, It's like, okay, well, there weren't people like actively, like creeping on me, which is nice, but yeah. The only thing I didn't do was leave the convention center because I know the moment I stepped out, let's say if I were like, because there was a time I think during Smash, because I don't follow Smash too much. I know some of the players, but I had the split second of like, maybe I should go outside, and then that was quickly shut off by no, because there are creepy people out there who don't know a thing about manners because they're drunk on some sort of inebriant something. And like, I think I'm a lot safer with all the FGC people than I am outside in the public. Yeah. So that was a very nice realization. But that's just like the overall thing with like the cosplay thing. Like there was a thing at NCR where I was cosplaying as Amelia Rage, and this guy.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So this guy, he in this like loud whisper, he's like, Dad, Amelia, and he kept walking. I'm like,
oh god, wow.
Yeah, okay,
was
yeah.
Was this the NCR Was this NCR from last year?
Yeah, it's from last year. I didn't go this year.
Oh, wow.
I had, yeah. I was busy this year. But yeah, last year that was the only time though. But I've been, but out of the 3 or so years doing like the FGC events and stuff, just going just to cosplay and not to be like a cam whore, because I know that's what a lot of people think like cosplayers do, or that what they're trying to do. I don't do that. But if I do get on camera, if I do see myself, I'll be like, yeah, woohoo, hey, how you doing? But like, I'm not about that cam whore hype, really. I mean,
Right.
maybe it's my age, yeah. But as far as like the moment, I think for this EVO was probably okay. So it was during Smash that my friend and I we were kind of walking around, and there's this group of girls who stopped him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we want to invite you to this party." And I turned around because I was like, "Where's my friend?" I turned around, and I see him, and they approached him because he was cosplaying as Fang.
Fong?
Yeah, Fong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they stopped him. Like, "Oh my God, we saw you down there. We want to invite you to this party." And so I was talking with him a bit, and he was like, "Oh, well, I leave tomorrow at like 11 o'clock in the morning," because he was flying out early, whereas I wasn't leaving until I think like in the evening. I'm like, "I'll go to your party. Sure, I'll do it. Yeah, no problem." So, and they were like, "Yeah, we just want cosplayers to come." I'm like, "Okay, cool. What's up? Invited to a party. Cool." I didn't even know where the party was at the time, but it's like, yeah, sure, but I was sitting down for a bit because my friend couldn't go, but I could bring a guest. So I was thinking, okay, well, who can I think of? And I tried contacting one of my other friends who lives locally. I mean, he was a really good cosplay friend of mine. And I was bugging him. I'm like, hey, do you want to go to like this party? Like, I don't, free alcohol. And I was trying to like sell it to him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm lazy. I don't want to leave." I'm like, "Okay, fine, whatever." So I'll go think of someone else. So I'm sitting there, I think Smash was still going. I think I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Who else can I invite?" I'll go invite Anthony. Where is he? I saw him earlier. So I started messaging him, and I'm like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing after finals? Like there's a party I got invited to. I can bring a guest." I'm not doing anything. I just have to go back to my hotel and change. Where's your hotel? At the West Gate? Oh my God, you better hurry up. The party was in the Luxor. So I'm thinking to myself, he better hurry his butt up. I mean, please.
I mean, look.
He finally made it. He finally made it. Like, he was actually pretty on, like, schedule. Like, as soon as finals were done, he's like, "Love y'all. Peace. Love you, Infiltration. Got to get out of here." Left, caught his Uber, went to the hotel, changed, came back super quick. And the party we went to had, like, all, like, various range of FGC guys. American, Japanese, KBR was there. It was wonderful. Daigo did a quick, like, cameo appearance. Like, he just kind of walked in, said hi, and then walked out the other door.
Probably want to go play more Marvel.
Or something. I don't know. Like, I remember Anthony. He's like, "Oh yeah, Daigo's here." I'm like, "What the fuck? He's here?" Yeah, I saw him.
Wait, was this a Twitch party?
No, this wasn't Twitch party. This was the Red Bull after party that were set up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
It was open bar, which I didn't know about until we got in. I was like, "Oh, awesome." I'm sorry, Sarah, for making you buy my drink earlier, but yeah,
it's okay.
free booze.
You'll just owe me later. It's fine. I'll figure out a payment later. It's fine. But yeah, like they had like themed drinks after Street Fighter moves. So there's like a Hadouken, Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
That Cyclone.
Yep.
I don't remember the other one.
Yeah, there was like only 4 or 5 drinks that were doing. I can't remember either. There was like another Street Fighter move that they named afterwards. But yeah, no, that party was pretty fun. I got to see Punko dance. That was funny.
I saw the footage.
Yeah, I saw that video.
It was great. I like Punko.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, we did pump it up on the dance floor, literally.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think the one thing I would like to say though, like Sarah, is that your friend that shows up as Fong, like he was really enjoying cosplaying as Fong that day.
Oh yeah, and he was hurting the next day because I guess he did it like when you do like exercise, you're supposed to stretch and hydrate and do all these things before you start your exercise and do the same after, to cool down. He did nothing of that.
Oh wow.
So I saw this post on him, on his Facebook afterwards, and he was, oh man, he was hurting, like his shoulders, fingers, the back, everything. I'm like, oh.
I even asked him. Oh, I'm guessing all of this was like adrenaline thing, because like I saw a good majority of them on camera. So and he looked pretty energetic. Then I was like, wow, okay, everything hurts now. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably adrenaline.
I will say this about that night. So the night that they had the party thing, I met. It was one of the Japanese Marvel commentators I met, and he was like playing caretaker for a bunch of other players around the area because they were all, Japanese. They were all together, so he was kind of watching them. And I was talking to him. I didn't know what he did at the time, so I'm just like, everyone's equal to me. I'll just talk, no big deal. I speak Japanese. It's fine. So I was talking to him, and I think towards the end of the party, I made a couple of friends with him and like a couple of his buddies, and they were trying to find a way back through the West Gate. And they were going to pay a cab to get them back, and the cab, I think, to get them back would have been like around like $80 or $100, something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was from the Luxor to the West Gate.
Oh. Okay.
Oh no! Like from the strip all the way to the outside of the strip? No.
Yeah. So I was talking to him. I'm like, I'll just call an Uber. I will just take you guys home. So it was interesting because I didn't know the layout of the Luxor. So we went out where like where the Sphinx is, because there's like that turnaround out there.
Mm-hmm.
Went out there, and we there's like the group of like 5 Japanese guys, and this commentator including, was walking with me, following me around, and I'm still dressed as Yagyu, so I still have like boobs and the whole thing and the wig, and I'm trying to talk to Norm. He's like, I'm trying to find this place. My Uber driver's here, Eventually circle the Luxor. We find the Uber driver, takes us back, and I drop them all off, and I'm like, I wish him well. And one of them, I added some of them on Twitter. One of them, he couldn't stand because he was so drunk. His friends were, like almost like, had an arm underneath each shoulder trying to get him up and
oh no,
him going and stuff. But that was a really interesting night. So and I followed up with the commentator, and they made it all home safe. So that's good.
Nice.
Awesome.
Great.
Fun times.
And he went to Coke World the day after, and he tried the international flavors. So.
Oh wow!
Props to him. He was very brave.
Yeah,
I'd say so. Terrible.
There's definitely you and I said I had a lot of fun that night. It was awesome at the Red Bull party for sure. Definitely a lot of cool people I met, and free drinks all around is definitely a plus on my book.
They had free drinks.
Yep, open bar.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But I think the only downside was that they were using Sky vodka.
I believe maybe.
It's like hit or miss, right?
Yeah, so it's like, woo, free drinks. Oh, Sky vodka.
Oh yeah.
But hey, it's a quick way to get drunk and a quick way to be happy. So it's like, pick your battle.
Yep.
Yeah.
True. And it was a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah.
So Eric.
Yes.
What personal story can you take away from this year's EVO for you?
All right. I guess I should talk about how I did in my games. I have a bad habit of entering like 10 games at each major because
I know that.
like at the start of the year, I'm like, all right, I'm just entering Street Fighter V and Guilty Gear, and that's it. And then later on, it was like, oh, they added Nitro Plus, I'll enter that. They added Vampire Savior, I'll enter that. They added KOF, I'll enter that, blah, blah, blah. So I entered like 6 or 7 games, right?
Jesus.
So Friday I had like 3 games, right? My first one, I kind of got roped into playing KOF 13. I didn't really want to enter it that much because they had KOF 14 and I was spending like 90% of the time there playing that. But so I entered KOF 13. I played my first match against a guy. I'm probably mispronouncing his name really badly. His name's like Bublan or something. He's from Europe. And he's an extremely good European player, and he double OCV'd me. So I'm like, I wasn't doing too well.
Ouch.
And the pool was getting, delayed and all that. And I had a Guilty Gear pool that was like around the time. And For the first time ever, I had to DQ myself out of a KO of 13
Ever?
tournament. Yeah, ever.
Wow.
Like, I mean, I've DQ'd myself out of, like, Street Fighter 4 before, because I'm like, whatever. But, like,
Okay.
this was,
Yeah.
like, this game, like, I never DQ'd myself out of it. And I'm like, I can't play right now. I'm sorry. Like, I gotta go to these other pools.
Yeah, because I know you love your KOF, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So, I probably should have stayed in KOF because I went to Guilty Gear and I got fucked up too. So it was and then after Guilty Gear I had Nitro Plus, and Nitro Plus I'm like, all right, I can't go 2 in this. I got 9th in this at NCR. I did really good in this at NCR. I went 0-2 in that too. So Friday wasn't a very good day for me, like pools-wise. And I spent the rest of it playing like KO 14 and all that. No, Saturday went a bit better. I had an 8 a.m. Street Fighter 5 pool, and now, you know what? Honestly, like 8 a.m. pools aren't that big of a deal to me. And the thing was, like, I was so tired on Friday. Like, I got back to my hotel room at 10 p.m. and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna lay down. And I laid down and I woke up at like 6 a.m. the next day. So it's
Nice.
I was like, all right, just in time. But so like my goal in Street Fighter 5, I was like, I cannot go 0-2. Like, no matter what I do, like, I cannot go 0-2 in this game. No matter my thoughts about it or whatever, like, I just can't go 0-2 in this. And I want to say a player from France that I was the most worried about. I want to say France or somewhere in Europe. And, like, I saw videos of him. He looked really good. So I played my first match. It was a birdie player. I beat him. And then I beat and then I fought the French guy, and I beat him. And I was pretty surprised about that.
Who did he play as?
I played Guile.
No, who did he play as?
He played Ryu.
Okay.
And he won the first round, and then like he plays like a really really spacing like super turbo styled Ryu, where it's like lots of spacing fireballs, lots of lows if you're open, stuff like that. And it's like once I figured out that game, like I did a lot better, and he was choking a lot later on, and so after I beat him, I played a Nash player who I didn't do too bad against, but I kind of choked out at the end of the loss. And then in losers, like I got fucked up by a Karen player, and I hate playing Karen. I know she's not like the best character, but I hate playing her. So
she could be a nightmare.
Yeah. So I mean that went really good. I played Vampire Savior. After that, there was like a Vampire Savior side tournament. I did really good in that. I went like 4-2, I think. It was like a really big. Yeah, it was like a really big bracket.
How many people entered it?
I think there were like 2 brackets. There were like 40 or 50, I think.
Oh wow.
That entered. Yeah, it was a pretty decent like turnout. But but I won my all the matches in this game were 3 out of 5, by the way.
Oh.
And because it's a pretty quick game and you can quickly go through it with that amount. And I can't remember like all the matches I played. I know I lost to Ailoris, who's like an extremely good Felicia player, and I forgot who I got eliminated by. But I did really good that tournament. And then my last one was KOF 14. They had a special side tournament where they kept it at, I believe they kept it at, I want to say 48 players, and you had to like enter ahead of time and send in your email. And from what I understand, like they handpicked this, like based off like really people who are like heavily into KOF. Like they didn't choose like Justin Wong or anything. Like they picked like people who were like heavily into 13 and names I hadn't seen in years and all that. So my first match was against a guy named RJ who used to be under name 4-Leaf, and he was like always really good at 13. And
I think I remember that player.
Yeah, he was from SoCal. Like he played a lot like in 2011 2012 he kind of disappeared for a while.
Okay.
But he's doing really good in 14, and I lost to him, but I didn't do as bad as I thought I would. And then I had to fight the European guy I lost to in KO 14, and he fucked me up again.
Oh.
Dang, man.
But I
Viva-
got a demon
Viva
in
la
one
France.
night.
Yeah, he got like top 8 in the whole thing, so I'm not like too sad. But
Oh, okay.
it was
So you
like
Damn.
it was like no, I had to fight him again.
What do you call that? Being eliminated by the same player in both games,
I
like.
call it a LeBron because LeBron did that to me at like a Game Center tournament like years back. Like he beat me in like 3 games, and I was like, damn it. Like,
Wow.
but yeah, like I mean the rest of that Saturday, I was like hanging around the KOF 14 area, getting as many matches as I could on that. Sunday was finals day. We got there kind of late because I guess I misunderstood like a lot of the directions to get there, and we were kind of like lost on the way, and like we ended up at this point where I could like see the Mandalay Bay, and I'm like, let's just fucking walk to it. It took us like 30 minutes to walk to it, but it was just like all these directions to like find like the transportation there and stuff, and we're just like kind of whack. So it's just like whatever, let's just walk to it. So we got there about like halfway through Marvel. I think it was like around top 6 by the time we got there, and got in, enjoyed myself, had a good time. We talked a lot about Sunday, so I don't need to say too much about that. Yeah, and that was about my Evo experience.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Eddie. Last but not least, Eddie. What story can you take away from this year's Evo?
So I think the theme for my Evo was first thing, this is my third Evo.
Awesome.
But
Nice.
I traveled to Evo, and I went to Evo with a group of friends who have never gone before. So I feel like the theme for me was, really like teaching them, I guess not teaching them, but, showing them the ropes, showing them what's up. This is their first time, popping their cherry when it came to Evo. So my goal was to give all of my friends the full Evo experience. And I really gave them the full Evo experience. Thursday, we drove out the entire way. And I drove the entire like way from the Bay Area all the way to Vegas. So that full 8 hours, I drove the entire thing. But me and my friends road tripped it out.
Wow.
And we got there, met up with my co-host, who some of you guys might know, Angela, aka Sarichu. I met up with her in Vegas because she flew out. She didn't want to ride with us. I don't blame her. And because she had booked us a hotel room at the Excalibur just for the Thursday night, because our producer for Retenders booked this room at Mandalay Bay, but he only booked us the room for Friday till Monday morning. So that one Thursday night we stayed at Excalibur, met up with Angela, and then that was it. We just relaxed most of Thursday because a lot of us did have pools on Friday and we wanted to get rest. So Thursday, went in, grabbed our badge, went back to the room, had dinner, just chilled, knocked out, watched reruns of Ghostbusters that was playing on AMC over and over again for some weird reason. Yeah. And then Friday, first thing in the morning, we checked out of Excalibur, grabbed all our shit, threw it in the car, and then drove over to the Las Vegas Convention Center. And, that was day one of pools. The 2 games I entered in, my main game is Tekken. So I participated in 7. I love playing Tekken. And just for fun, because all my friends were playing in Street Fighter, this was their very first Evo. They wanted the full Evo experience, so they all entered in Street Fighter, and they told me, oh, you should enter with us too. I don't really play SF5 all that much. I'll dick around every now and then with friends, but I was like, you know what the hell? I'll play with you guys. So I went in there too. And as far as Tekken goes, my first match was actually up against Perfect Legend.
Oh shit.
Ah.
Jeez, first match, you get Carl. Holy crap.
Surprisingly, I got past him round 1. Or I got
Wait.
past him during that first game. Now,
Okay.
no, it was all luck, to be honest, and I feel like I don't deserve it at all because it was a DQ. He did not show up.
Oh,
wow.
I did stall the ref as much as possible. I told my ref, please, if you can, I want you to set this match last. I want you to put every other match you possibly can play. just go on until you can't go on with the bracket anymore because I really want to fight this guy. I hope he shows up. But he just never did end up showing up to his Tekken pools. It was like a noon pool, too. It was like at 12.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know he played Tekken.
Me neither. I did watch
he's
him.
more,
I did
more
that
known for
matchup.
Mortal Kombat DOA, but yeah, Tekken,
Yeah,
I've never heard
studied that
of that.
matchup. He uses Devil Jin, so I spent like the past 2 weeks like on the Devil Jin matchup. Like, okay, I gotta block those double sweeps, and I gotta watch out for the electric winds, and But then I ended up not even having to play him, which was honestly kind of a bummer. I was really looking forward to fight him, but so they gave me a bye, and then my very next match was against I can't remember his name, but he was somebody from Amusement Factory. It was Niamuru from Team Yamasa, Team Amusement Factory, a Japanese player who used Akuma, and he actually made it to, I believe, top 16 if you look at the final brackets. Yeah. But his Akuma completely wrecked me in Tekken. I know it's kind of a weird thing to say, Akuma in Tekken.
Yeah, it still is, yeah.
But yeah, Akuma, I had no answer for. Just
Nobody does, really.
Those mix-ups were like ridiculous. He kept doing 2 into Demon Flip, low forward, Hadouken, low forward, Demon Flip into something, and I was just like, I couldn't interrupt it with anything. I had no idea what to do. So he took me out. Then my next match was against My Blows, and I took him out of losers really easy. And then I lost to, I forgot who I lost to in the end. But I lost to some dude named Zoda. I forgot who he was using, though. But that was a close match. I should have won that. I made a couple of mistakes with Paul that I shouldn't have. And yeah, so I went technically 2-2 in Tekken, but I really only count that as 1 and 2 since one of them was a bye. Yeah, in Street Fighter, I went 1 and 2 in Street Fighter. But yeah, after that, I just after we got out of pools, after everybody was done with their pools, we spent the rest of the day just hanging out, doing shopping, watching a bunch of the matches. Got to hang out with Linda and Jesse. You might know them as Jesse and Linda. You might know Vampy.
Oh, yeah.
Vampy and J-Ryu.
Yeah.
Who totally saved us that Friday because my producer, his flight, he was supposed to arrive 5 p.m. and then check us into the hotel. Like, he was supposed to meet us up at, 5 at the convention center, and then we were all going to check into the hotel after all our pools were done. But he missed his flight by 5 minutes. So he couldn't catch, I think his next flight was, at 7 or something, and he didn't get to Vegas till, 8:30. But the entire time we were stuck, stranded with no place to go. Linda invited us up to her hotel room and just told us, "Oh, just hang out with us and just chill here." So, we got to just chill with her until my producer finally called us and was like, "Hey, I'm at the airport. Pick me up." So, Linda being a lifesaver. But yeah, we picked up our producer and then we checked in Mandalay Bay. Everything was a breeze after that. We spent Saturday back at the convention center, just hung out. Of course, I was filming for Retrenders, so, I was out there catching B-roll, catching some fights. Did a lot more shopping on Saturday. And, also Saturday, we went to, I think the funnest part was at the end, we went to the after party. Well, it wasn't really the after party, it was the, the bar fights.
Oh, yeah. That was happening on Saturday night, yeah.
Yeah, and that was a pretty fun party. I mean, it was cool seeing. I think everybody was playing for. They were playing for drinks, pretty much. If you were able to beat Mike Ross, Gutex, or Combo Fiend, they would buy you a drink.
Really?
And it was one of the special you guys were talking about earlier that were named after Street Fighter moves. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, we really don't get to see those guys play all too much, especially guys like Combo Fiend and Mike who quit playing the game pretty much.
That's kind of beyond
quit
control.
just they're not allowed to enter tournaments because of their job,
Yeah.
So since I was there at Bar Fights, I figured that would be the perfect opportunity for me to interview some people with Retrenders. So I did interview Mike Ross and talk to him how he felt about the game and stuff. Because I think he went undefeated his entire session playing for drinks.
Oh,
so I'd asked him, why aren't you playing? Why aren't you entering EVO? And I love his answer. I'll never forget his answer. He said, I talked to the, Evo crew, and I talked to, the Capcom crew, and I think we all came to the same conclusion that it would be completely unfair if I entered Fighter. We got to give these newbies a chance. So that's the reason why I'm not playing this year.
He went undefeated because I wasn't there. I want his soul. No lie.
Yeah, that video will come up soon.
Nice.
And I got to talk to Combo Fiend for a bit, just talking about how he felt about the game and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was just cool seeing everybody at the bar fights, just hanging out, just yeah, that's it. Just playing games and stuff.
Cool.
It was dope. And of course, what was it? Sunday. I spent the day in the hotel room just watching off the stream and watching the ESPN broadcast. And the rest of my roommates were gonna do that with me too. But Linda did hook us up with passes to the grand finals. I opted out and chose to stay, and I told all my roommates, look, you guys are here for the first time. I want you to get the full EVO experience, and I want you guys to go there and watch it, like on the big stage. So, we gave them all the tickets. Linda was nice enough to hook it up and shipped them up with all the passes, and they all went to the grand finals, and they all came back later that night with their minds blown. They were like, wow, like, I've seen it on stream, every year prior to this, and that was like a totally different experience. Like, they were so excited. They had such a great time, and even watching from the hotel room, I still had a hype time watching it from there.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad that your friends had a great time, and specifically for their first Evo for this year. And that's cool. It's pretty awesome, and I think that I think if you're listening to this podcast and you've not been to an Evo, I suggest you go to at least one.
Yeah, guys.
It's a lot of fun.
I've been to two. It's a really great experience.
Mm-hmm. So I think before we close out the podcast, I think two things. I think first I want to say is, just go into full description, but kind of give which match in your opinion was the most hype, or like your favorite match out of the weekend, and just overall experience of Evo.
What? Wait, one match?
Yeah, how dare you?
One specific match.
Oh God! No.
I know there was a ton of good ones out there, but
There's too
There were a
many.
ton of great, but they're all on YouTube.
yeah, it's true.
Oh
it's
boy.
true. So yeah, I think I'll go around the table. Sarah, I'm gonna have you go first on this one.
What? Because I was only I arrived to finals late. I only got to the final match of Marvel and then on. I mean, that's kind of unfair, but so I guess it would probably have to be Chris G, because my friend who got me into the FGC stuff, because he was like, yeah, Sarah, you should come to NCR, you should go do this and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll bring a cosplay, do a thing, whatever. Kind of shy. So him and his friends were the ones who kind of educated me on who to look out for, right? Who to respect, and who'd be like, fuck that guy. So one of those guys was actually Chris G, and so I was actually very happy, because I've been following him for for the time that I've been around, learning all the players and respecting certain people and being like, fuck Martin, he sucks, sort of thing, like that sort of mentality where it's just like, fuck that guy, no, screw that guy, but love this guy, sort of thing. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I was really happy that Christian won, so I'm like, yay, he won, because last year he got screwed out of it, and the year before it was meh, so yeah.
Awesome. Eddie, your favorite match out of Evo weekend?
Damn, that's a tough one. I mean, aside from everything that went on Sunday, I would have to say, because you already know Sunday was hype. Mm-hmm. I think my favorite match that will always stand out to me was, what was it? We were all about to leave to go to dinner Saturday night. This was this was a little before the bar fights thing. Mm-hmm. And I had turned on the stream just because we were curious, and it was Daigo versus Justin Wong. We just caught that match.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And watching Justin Wong take out Daigo, which is that's not something that's easy to do. I mean, not everybody can just take out.
Yeah, Elric
Daigo.
mentioned this to me once, but yeah, he only did it at Evo once before that moment.
Yeah. So that was for me, that was a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm a big Daigo fan, but I also do love Justin Wong. He's the hometown hero, America, USA.
Of course, yeah.
Well, it was so crazy seeing that match, that Karen versus Ryu is, yeah. That one really stood out to me.
Yeah, that was a 6 set.
Marcos, your favorite match of the year?
God, where do I begin? There were so many, and I don't even just talk about Street Fighter. It's just like all the other games. Well, oh God, let me see. God, do I really have to pick just one?
Just
Yeah,
one.
just
Can I
one.
pick
We
one
could, we
for
could be here for
Wait, how
hours
about-
talking about every other match we liked, but just one. To close it out.
All right. I mean, the one that sticks out in my mind the most is the one I mentioned earlier. Is Joe against Aida, man. Like, I mean, all the matches in that top 8 were hella good. But that one, just like, because he was the only American, he was the underdog. Out of all the killers that came to Street Fighter, like, for him to make top 8 and then go on to get at least win one match in top 8 was like huge. Especially since it was on ESPN, right? He got interviewed before that and like on ESPN because when I was sitting in the audience, like I was looking at the skyboxes, right? I saw like a TV that had ESPN2 on it with Street Fighter 5. I was just watching it from like really far, okay? And I just see, I see like them interviewing Joe, right? I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like we've reached this point, for him like to be shown on ESPN right before he had to play, right? And then like, he wins against Aita, one of the top Japanese players, 3-1, like, and the crowd was just like so into it. Like I got into it, my mind was like blown, and there were other really close sets because Joe won 3-1, so he won semi convincingly in a way, right? But just the energy in that match, rooting for Joe to win, to keep advancing in the bracket, to give us hope that US will win an EVO one day.
Yeah, definitely.
in Street Fighter at least,
Yes.
And that was really special to me because I felt like when he won and like everyone like just went crazy, like I felt like the community was like very united. You know what I mean? Like, and it takes me back to like when the fact that this was on ESPN. I remember Mike Ross and Gutex, back in Vanilla SF4 days, like they had, they were on these documentaries and interviews and talking about like that they want to get Street Fighter, to this point, where people can watch it on ESPN, right? And, just to see the whole presentation, right? And then Mike Ross, like, commentating with Seth Killian and Gutex, talking to the players after the match is like, oh my God, is this real? Like, just that whole, like, it was the match and the energy of the match and just the atmosphere on it. That's why it's my favorite match of EVO.
Also, can I put in a little side note?
Yeah.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Chris Seglia and the entire EVO staff out there.
Yes.
Because they pulled a lot of strings to get EVO 2 on ESPN2, it really, really showed. The presentation was super clean.
Yeah.
Like you could actually hear the crowd compared to the Twitch stream, and wow, it was just awesome. It was just an awesome experience overall, and we got a lot of views out of it. Like 201K is not really much to sneeze at. So.
No, not at all.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Much love to the crew at EVO for putting together the entire event, and the production side was spot on. So
yeah.
Shout out to Lupe. Unblock me from Twitter, please.
Cool, awesome. I was gonna say, Eric,
Yes.
your favorite match of the weekend?
Man, there's like 5 or 6 I'm thinking of, but I guess I'll go with the one that kind of surprised me the most. Big surprise is a KOF match, but so first round of the KOF 14 tournament, it was Dako versus Lazy Freddy. And if you don't know who Dako is, he was basically Zhao Hai's KOF training partner for years.
Right. Yeah.
And like one of the best from China.
Mm-hmm.
And Lazy Freddy's, not too bad. He's really good in 14, but not like that well known of I believe either Midwestern or East Coast player. And Lazy Freddy wiped the floor with him. And I was like, he nearly like OCV'd him the first round with like Nakaruru.
Damn.
And I was like, holy shit, dude.
Wow.
Like, so yeah, that's my favorite just because it like really caught me off guard.
Nice. Awesome. Derek, your favorite match out of the weekend?
Okay, so we all mentioned Li Joe versus Asa, and it's like in that top 8 match. But the one match that stands out to me was the one that he played to get into top 8. So before that, Li Joe versus Kazunoko, because we all know how well Kazunoko plays in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And his cameo is pretty much a really, really solid cameo. It's not
It's a
nothing to sneeze
monster.
at.
Yeah.
Absolute monster. And it's like the instant he hit medium sonic side into super, it's like to close out the match, I was like, oh my god, wow. So you could just feel all the emotions just surging through. And we all saw that scene where it was with his crowd of friends mobbing him on the stage, and afterwards his girlfriend hugging him. I'm like, wow, that's like, you could tell this was going to be a big moment, like that was going to happen the very next day on ESPN. And well, rest is history.
Yep, definitely.
So yeah, that match right there really stood out to me because that was the one that got him. Like that was the one that got him in. It's like that got him in there in the first place.
Nice. So I'll end this on my favorite match of the weekend. So I was actually in the front covering the Smash 4 finals. But as I was doing that, I look over on the side, and I see on one of the projectile screens it was Momochi versus Art in Street Fighter, and
that one.
Wow. Yeah, that ending, holy crap! To the point where literally, the gray life of Momochi was like virtually like there was no life in either of those characters' bar, but but the skin of his teeth, like Art managed to pull that one out and beat Momochi that was insane. I like the fact that like I find out later like he was the one who started the USA chant. But no, it was really cool. It was a really intense match, and that was nuts. That was really crazy the way it ended. So for me, that was my favorite match of that weekend at EVO. But overall, I think we can all say that EVO was great this year. That we had a lot of fun, and definitely everything from the production side to the matches to the people that were there. It was a great experience, and I think that EVO is definitely headed in a great direction. I think I remember hearing because like we have other majors out there that could be considered as good or close to as good as EVO, but even like Jabali was like saying like, dude, EVO, wow, like. So
yeah, that's saying something for sure. Yeah. So.
And CEO was scamming itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for this podcast. I want to thank everybody who showed up today to talk about everything about EVO. And before we close it out, I'm gonna go around the table. Sarah, where can I find you on the internet?
I'm everywhere on the internet, but I don't really check. More so raised on the internet. Cosplay page is Sora No Cosplay. Twitter, I think, is also the same. But I have the links in my cosplay page for like all the other stuff. I'm trying to push more towards Twitter because I'm like, okay, have to practice Japanese.
Awesome.
That's where I do it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Eddie, where can they find you on the internet?
You guys can find me on retrenders.com. I mean, that's pretty much where you'll find me. I'm everywhere on there for the most part. Most of the videos on there will have me in it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just hit up the Retrenders Facebook page. Say what's up.
Cool. Awesome. Marcos, where can they find you on the internet?
I have been more active on Twitter like the past couple of years now, so you can find me at L_Cubano underscore local. Sorry, it's so long. And also I do freelance for Shoryuken, so you can find my work on there.
Awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Eric, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me shit posting on Twitter at the N4US at the N4US. I also sometimes I stream and do YouTube, and both my Twitch and YouTube are Roy Story. If any of you want to follow me there.
Cool. Awesome. Derek, where can they find you on the internet?
I have actually changed my handles on both Instagram and Twitter. Instead of Commodore Tag, I am now officially known on both Twitter and Instagram as the Hypebot. So you can just find me on there.
Awesome. And you can follow me personally on Twitter at Defective Naruto, and the work that me and Derek do on our website at missionstartpodcast.com. This podcast is also on iTunes and Stitcher, if you haven't noticed already. If you're listening off the site, go check it out. We also have a Patreon page, so definitely check it out. Patreon.com/missionstartpodcast. And definitely check it out from there. Again, thank you everyone who came by to talk about EVO this year. So with that being said, yeah, it's gonna be another year, but hope we can do it again next year.